Hello, hello, hello. Welcome. Get into this one with basically JimBob reacting to Asmon, who's reacting to the Andrew and Charlie interview debate. This is ridiculous. Not because JimBob or Asmon done anything wrong, but this debate between these two is kind of awful. Let's get into it. Forget it. I won't even.
I guess my biggest pitch to you
Let me just discriminate.
would just be this. Like, it's really funny for me that the Christian nationalists get this rep that we're like fascist, dictatorial crazies who want to take away freedoms. And yet, every single time I talk to one of you feminists or I talk to one of you progressives, and it's basically synonymous at this point. I mean, there's no progressives really who aren't feminists. There's no feminists really who aren't progressive.
That's true.
It just seems to me like the totalitarian nature of everything that I've seen has come from you guys. Like the C-19 lockdowns, the COVID passports, the where are your papers, that was you guys. The remove all of the information because the government doesn't like it from private websites and put pressure on them to do it, that was you guys.
This is what I always said, is that these people, I say this every day, right? Is that these people don't want to not have a king. They want to be the king. They don't want to get rid of the police. They want to be the police. They don't want to, get rid of social media. They want to control social media. It's again, they don't really, it's not that they're not against authoritarianism. They're against another brand of authoritarianism that isn't their own. Like, that's really what's going on.
Yep.
And the other thing I noticed is that I bet that woman has really stinky vegetarian dumps. Something I think Osmond, no, nothing against you, man. I think you missed that, though. I think.
Well, I mean, technically, she is a sniz licker or a ditch licker. And I think he says even later that she's a transformer. So if that's the case, and she's been taking the the man hormones, then yeah, she probably does have stinky. Yeah,
you missed something here.
The whole idea of you need to wear your state-sponsored piece of clothing, the mask, that came from you guys. It's like all of the fascist dystopian things that I can imagine that Orwell was warning about and things like that.
Yep. All left.
That doesn't come from us. That always seems to come from you guys. The people who are the fascist hunters seem to be the very worst at real freedom.
By any chance?
Well, hang on. Let me finish
Can I just insert a red herring for some reason?
my pitch.
What the fuck
before
does
you
that have to do with anything?
Yeah, she literally has no argument. And she knows it. That's why she's throwing that in there. Because if she did have an argument, she would formulate an argument.
Thing.
Any questions about it, right? So if
She's like, do you think Peter Thiel has full-blown AIDS?
you wanted me to give you the most convincing, the most convincing argument that I possibly can, it would just be this: that everything we talk about is actually you curtailing freedom, not me. And everything that we end up ultimately discussing seems to come down to the fact that you just want to kind of engage in degenerate behaviors. And that's the only freedom you seem to care about, the freedom to promiscuously have sex and then have an abortion to take care of that if you need to, even if it's the case that by removing...
I think you don't want the kid, just get rid of it. You call it...
See, I think this is a bad take. I think this is a bad take by Asmon. He's literally saying if you don't want the kid, get rid of it. If that is a good take, if you're talking about put it up for adoption, take it to a fire station, something along those lines. But if we're talking about delete it before birth, bad take. There are plenty of people out there who cannot have kids that would love, and I mean love, to adopt. We make it so hard to adopt in this country because there are so many bad people, terrible people that take advantage. There are so many people that foster children that basically use it as a form of income. Now, that is not to put down the people that are legitimate, that do it for good reasons and actually take it as a blessing and actually do good in these children's lives. Because I mean, obviously, one bad apple ruins the whole bag, as many of us know. So, or the whole bushel, as I've always heard. So, I mean, it's not to disparage people that actually do it good, but we can't sit here and pretend that there aren't PDFs out there. We can't pretend that there aren't people that would take advantage and do harm. We can't.
Harder, I say, okay, sure, do it.
That there would be less unwanted babies born.
I mean, if you know my worldview of like 50 other things, you'd realize that I don't really place a high value on a lot of people's lives. I don't.
No.
Oh, is this his abortion take? Well, that's a big dub. L's in the chat, Osmond.
That's where I was going. I'm glad JimBob sees it that way.
Stop it, Osmond. Stop it.
Stop. I agree. Stop.
Don't be a nihilist, dude.
We're all.
If you're a nihilist, then there's nothing wrong with feminism. You're just like, I don't like to eat at that pizza place. I don't like this. Right? Come on, dude. Develop. Osmond, develop here. You can't have this like moralist view on feminism and I'm tired of it and that's why Donald Trump's here and we're sick of it all, right? Well, we're sick of people like you advocating for abortion, okay? How is it you're going to heavily critique feminism but not see the entailment and the symptom that is abortion that's completely inextricably tied to it, dude?
Oh, he sees it.
You asshead.
He sees it.
I don't. Like, I'm talking about putting everybody in jail. Like, really, is this truly a shocking viewpoint for me to have when I'm totally in support of bombing any of the boats, bringing over the stuff? I was in support of bombing Iran. I was in support of putting people in jail categorically for being crazy. Like, really, I mean... inside of my worldview with things, I'm in support of, somebody throws a brick at the cop shoots them, I think W. I don't care. Like, this is actually very consistent with all of my other beliefs.
Not really. It's not
Agreed.
Consistent.
Agreed. Because, I mean, you're sitting here saying all of those things, but you're saying delete the babies. One of these is not like the other, One of these is definitely not like the other.
I'll tell you what's not consistent, Osmond, because obviously you run your own thing. You're very successful, right? You don't need to actually be countered by anybody, and you don't even need to listen to people who counter you. But you're not actually consistent. The reason is you're not consistent is that you hold a metaethical view on something. What's inconsistent is the reasoning you hold the metaethical view, the thing that you're grounding your metaethics in. Don't do that. That's wrong. Ultimately isn't applied equally. So that's where the inconsistent is. Now, if you said, I don't have any metaethical view, nothing's actually wrong, everything I'm saying isn't right or wrong or true or false, I'm just a gibberator who's locked into my house, right, and overwhelmed with the success I've had, right? Well, then you'd be more consistent. Like a nihilist who's consistent is someone who would admit that any time he says a claim or posits a position, whether it's a truth claim or an ethical claim, you should always say, by the way, that was just sounds coming out of my mouth and it doesn't matter. None of it matters. Reviewing this doesn't matter. Andrew's statement, battling this dumb chick, doesn't matter.
And this chick is so dumb. I understand that's my opinion and my stance, but yeah, this chick is dumb, which is a shame because she's a pretty chick. But, it is what it is.
Doesn't matter who wins or loses.
Still think that we need to have that because, people just need to be able to fuck if they want and be promiscuous if they want, and have STDs if they want. It's like, it always seems like the freedom that you guys advocate for is only a freedom towards degeneracy.
Well, it's a self-referential. They just want to do what they want to do. That's it.
And never.
That's It's your view. What are you talking about? You just showed now I'm reviewing him. Forget
Exactly.
Andrew and this chick. That's literally your view, Asmon.
I agree. But I'm going to move it back to her because this is what liberals do constantly. They make excuses. They make all of this trash up basically in support of their arguments until it doesn't support their argument. And then they kind of jump around.
He's like, oh, yeah, Andrew's base. Look at him. He's, he's tearing this chick up. They just want to do what they want to do. That's your view. You're the feminist now. Make me famous.
Actually about freedoms that are really intrinsic to the human experience.
You're forgetting Red Stupid? Yeah, basically.
And even more than that, I would just point this last thing out, which is,
how's that for paradox?
if you had a society where it was really full of more people like me, right? It was full of people who did take their religion seriously, and they took their family dynamic seriously. And they took the things that they were doing seriously.
Look at him sipping that giant Coke.
That's because he's not religious. His religion is science and secularism. And to me, that is just as bad as any of the others. Actually, it's probably worse because, it is a bunch of lies that's being sold. So, having said that, I would shy away from any prescriptions, from giving any prescriptions other than Jesus is the truth, the way, and the life. Seek ye him, seek the kingdom of heaven, and everything else shall be granted. And we'll just leave it with that and call it a video.